More weekly whiskeys, more implicit bias, hour 2 rolling on. I'm your host, Kevon Bordelon. We are in the Mr. Lester's top secret podcast lair. That's the TSPL for the initiated. And we've got a great crew for you here this week. One of the things that we're going to do that's actually thoroughly enjoyable is we're just cutting Walker completely out of the show because he drank too much last night before we recorded this episode. He's not in a state to be on, so Walker, sorry, not sorry. Let me introduce you to the rest of the crew here this week. On Implicit Bias at the bar, we've got Triple H, Hold Harmless Harmon of Dupree Carrier Godshot, Louisiana's only certified master tobacconist, Rene Girard. And of course, in the chair, sitting much like me, but on the other side of the table, he is the rustic renegade, Caleb Morse, as we bring you a post-Thanksgiving initial December episode of the show. So that means that we also have more weekly whiskeys that are available at Mr. Lester Steakhouse during the month of December, which you can see on the table here to my right, your left on the screen. It's the Heaven Hill Grain to Glass series available at Mr. Lester's, and we are just kind of sorting this one out. So, Caleb, we'll start with you. You decided to pour the straight bourbon whiskey?
Yes, sir. It's the Blue Label, the straight bourbon whiskey. I didn't look at the proof, but I'm guessing this is probably 90. I would say 90 proof, around that area. Soft, a little sweet. Man, I'm getting hints of bacon. Like, I'm getting hints of that applewood smoked bacon when I smell this and on the palate. This is pretty damn nice.
Okay, first of all,
one.
ring the bell for a reason. Caleb has no idea what the proof is on this.
No.
Let's go to the bar, because Caleb's wrong.
What? Damn.
I'm thinking this one is probably 96.
No way.
On the proof?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. It's good. I like it. It's got a slight sweetness to it. Very, very drinkable.
Very drinkable. Okay, Mr. Harmon, what are you thinking?
I'm going to go a little heavier on the proof. I'm going to say it's 100, maybe north of 100. It is subtle. It's an easy drinker. I agree. It's pleasant on the nose. It's pleasant. The front end's just as good as the back end. There's no heavy burn. I'm hoping it's on the higher end. But to be such an easy drinker.
I love it. I love it. Caleb is doing everything he can to stay away from that comment where you said it's just as good on the front end as it is on the back end. He's trying not to say anything there. But guess what? Nobody's right. And Renee?
Oh, it went the other way.
Hold up. Let's call him the proof hound. Let's have him stick his tongue in the water.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Walker,
Let's see if
what
Walker
is-
can. Walker, do you want to just take a whiff, Walker, and tell me what you think the proof is?
For everyone off air. Blah, 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 blah.
Is the proof vomit?
For everyone off air, Walker is now
Your Latin is
inhaling.
terrible.
He's inhaling
Come on, Walker.
the
What?
glass, sniffing.
What did you say?
I said 90.
I said 95.
95
you
and
said
then
north
100.
of 100.
You said
and
right at 100.
I'm trying to
This
tell
has
you,
got to be low.
Based off of the conversation, we must all be high. So
I have to go 80.
107.
Damn.
Really?
What?
This is 53.5% alcohol by volume, 107 on the proof.
This can be
Oh,
dangerous.
This definitely don't drink like a
No.
high
This
proof.
Man.
definitely goes in deep blue.
Yeah.
The Implicit Bias
Yeah,
Infinity
yeah.
bottle. There is no doubt about this one. It's
It's good.
Not
I
only
get
is
the
it
little
bourbon-
Frisons back here.
not only is it bourbony McBourbon, it is soft, yet it is bold.
Okay.
It is sweet, yet it has just enough sourness and spiciness to offset it.
Okay, I need to know what would that bottle sell for?
Oh,
And
Do you
Mr.
have any
Lester's?
idea? No. I'm talking on the open market.
I'll be honest, Renee, I've never seen it open market.
Oh, really?
Never seen it open market. I don't know what it goes for. I'm going to take a look and see if this has an age statement on it in any way, shape, or form. But I'm not getting a ton of.
If it's a single barrel, it's got to be 8 years because this is older. It's more dignified, more refined. The flavors are a little bit more robust. They're not all jumbled together. This is good one.
So this show's distilled 2017, so we're talking 7 years old.
there you go.
Huh?
Close.
So not 8, but so general rule, Renee. Do you remember the rule of 10?
Yeah.
So
$70.
But considering that this is a Heaven Hill
Yeah.
glass to grain series,
Yeah,
I
it's
would think this might be a little higher.
100, probably.
Here's what I'm gonna tell you. What I know is what this goes for at Mr. Lester's. Because Mr. Lester Steakhouse wants to make this whiskey available to all of our bourbon drinkers out there. Take a wild guess per pour versus the flight of all three.
I know what the flight of all three is going to be.
What's the flight of all three?
I mean, $20.
Nope.
35.
30.
I lied. It is 20. I'm sorry. No, actually, I'm kidding. It is, the flight is 30.
That is more like
It is,
appealable to me.
it is a
because
$20 per pour.
Yeah.
So it's 20 per pour.
yeah,
it's
better
about
to- better
it's
to
about
get the
time they
flight.
ticked up their price a little bit because they've always offended me with it. And $20 for a pour of this is still a hell. Like
And
it's a
heaven knows you
bargain.
can't offend Caleb.
Yeah.
Gosh, we can't have that happen.
Hey, my niece has tried yesterday. So.
Apparently, multiple members
Yeah.
of everyone's family tried in some way, shape, or form over the holidays.
They
That
did not
happened.
succeed. I can tell you that
Yeah.
right now. I think they bothered themselves.
So what I know is this. What I know is that the Blue Label, the Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, I can't wait to get into the others. I know there's a rye here. I know there's some others. I'm really excited about tasting the others here, especially. And I might just do it through the month of December, which is what
Ooh, that'd
Mr.
be
Lester's
nice.
is going to do.
That'd be nice.
So we'll have multiple whiskeys we can taste through the month, as you can go to Mr. Lester's and get this in those locations. So
Please don't dilly-dally.
no. As a matter of fact, if you haven't made your reservations probably by now, you might be in trouble. Just letting you know, book your reservations at Mr. Lester Steakhouse. You can find them. Go online, search Mr. Lester Steakhouse, Cypress Bayou Casino. They'll come up. And trust me, you will not eat a better meal between New Orleans and Houston. It is the only 5-star steakhouse, the only 5-star restaurant, and the only place that's really near, dear, special, in our opinion. Okay, so let's dive into some of the stories as we talk about pretty mattering. A lot of people liked the idea of a former special operator, a former Navy SEAL, being elected to the United States Congress. And for those who actually looked at some of the stories I sent
know what you're
today,
talking
you
about.
know where I'm going with this.
Poor guy since that accident, man.
And you feel terrible for anyone who loses an eye, especially in service of their country.
Yeah, but ever since the injury, he views everything from the left point of view.
Oh, that was a nice setup. I got to give you credit. Ring the
Yeah,
bell. That was nice
yeah.
setup.
It's a low blow, I'll be honest.
Because for
with you.
those who know Dan Crenshaw, you know that he wears a patch over one eye, and that's why it's a. But the really odd part is this. The really odd part is that Dan Crenshaw and some of his policies and some of what he said have come out to be highly contradictory to what he allegedly claims are his running platforms. And most recently, Dan Crenshaw is getting community noted on X. And I say that with a beautiful, pretty smile because it is beautiful and it is pretty when you understand why he is being community noted. So let's talk about what the community note is. And it's this. There has been an idea that has been floated that I think is beautiful for all elected officials, that they can no longer trade stocks once they're elected. Now, why is that a beautiful idea? You know, let's face it, they went after the 45th president because he owned hotels, and those hotels had government contracts. That would, by definition, be a conflict of interest. So would passing a law that affects a certain business and buying stock or selling stock in said business before you pass the law. That, by nature, would also be a conflict of interest. And there are no investors on the planet, none, who are as accurate and as profitable as U.S. Congress when it comes to stock trading. So the initial offering of the law was that they can't do it. And Dan Crenshaw got highly upset.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, his stocks are up 44%. In this thing, he said he hadn't have more than $20,000, and he has like 300 and something thousand.
Which is when he
Yeah.
said, I don't have more than 20, it's a lie.
Well, and look, his net worth is not what a lot of other people's net worth is. Now, does that excuse any potential behavior? No. And look, I don't know Dan Crenshaw. I don't know his finances or anything else. But from a sheer like logistical point of view, I don't know how you would restrict congresspersons from participating in the stock market, because then you're restricting their right to free trade. But the fact that they would directly impact that number is a big deal, right? So it's how do we do that without being directly in violation of the Constitution and their legal rights?
Let's go to the bar.
Well, you know, it's just like when Cheney was there. He was running Halliburton at the time. Whenever they put him in, he had to
Divest, essentially.
They put it in a blind trust.
Yeah.
That he had no idea, no control of. That somebody else did that.
Trump.
And granted, you know, Cheney wasn't the one signing anything. He was just VP. But Crenshaw, he's only been there like maybe 2 terms. So he hadn't been there long enough to get the war chest like Pelosi and all of those. Pelosi has made some serious money on stock deals because she passed laws that her husband owned stocks. And they made stupid millions of dollars. That's how these congressmen make millions of dollars in Congress.
Brian, you want to chime in on this?
Yeah, I'm in. That would be a step in the right direction should this law pass. Okay, we need to have term limits, and yes, they need the Congress, the people that make decisions that do in fact move markets should not have the ability to free trade. They sacrifice that right in order to be the decision makers that do in fact move markets.
But
the presidents do it, just like Dick Cheney. Donald Trump had to put a lot of his. They still crucified him for it, but. Blind trust. I'm not going to get into what's required, but I know it can be done. That coupled with term limits will send this country on the right trajectory more than most, pretty much anything else I can think of at the moment.
Well, yeah, but definitely, I mean, term limits are a great thing, but then you can't just restrict their access, right? Mm-hmm. So you have to restrict close family, close friends.
Oh, yeah.
Agreed.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's how do you do that without impacting their constitutional rights and the right of free trade?
So
Because
here's
that's the problem. Because look, is it shady? Yes. Do I think it's morally and ethically wrong? Yes. Is it illegal?
it's ethnically wrong.
Well, sorry. As long as they have the ability to either choose to run for office or not, I think the gray area is worth the investment in the country long term.
So do me a favor, ring the bell. And this is why pretty matters and pretty doesn't matter. This proposed law is an attempt to put pretty in front of our face and make it look nice and neat and all this good stuff. You know why? Because we don't need the law. Insider trading is already illegal.
Yeah.
This is an open and shut case. If I am sitting in the position to affect something and I buy or sell a stock right before I pass or have any of that happen, if I am in a position to know, it's insider trading. If the Securities and Exchange Commission would just do its job and prosecute lawmakers for insider trading as they have tried to prosecute everybody else, it's the fastest open and shut case you've got. The only problem is we'd be looking for about 400 new representatives and probably 80 or 90 new senators every year and a half.
Well, and I'm sure the SEC is funded through the budget. So they don't want to upset, the representatives who control the purse.
You mean don't bite the hand that feeds you?
Exactly.
Oh my
Exactly.
goodness. For shame.
This is again how pretty factors in, right? This is their effort to golden ratio, and we're going to go into that next segment, Caleb, but they're trying to golden ratio ideas so that you don't necessarily look at what's underneath it, you just look at what's outside of it.
And just a reminder, Martha Stewart has more street cred than Snoop Dogg because she went to the big house for insider trading.
Which brings me to, and it doesn't render me speechless, but it's a fantastic point, Renee. Ring the bell, because connecting that dot is what's important, and here's why. They put Martha Stewart in jail for insider trading.
Yep.
But Nancy Pelosi and her husband, who have perhaps the greatest stock investing track record in history, are running free and doing whatever they want.
One of the big bills was a tuna fishing bill. Who her husband is a major stockholder in, I don't remember one of the big canned tuna companies.
Please don't believe this. Go look this up.
He made stupid money when she passed that law.
So he made Walker money?
Oh, more than that.
Oh, okay. What's the matter, Walker? Little slow on the uptake today? Do something to cloud the brain last night that maybe doesn't have you quite as sharp as you normally are?
If only he would drink or sip that glass in front of him, your synapses would be going at 100 miles an hour again.
You made that glass.
I didn't
Knowing
make
I
that
wasn't
glass.
going to
I'm
drink
not a glass blower.
Oh,
I am not a glass blower. I
no,
don't
you
know how
weren't
to
going to
work
drink.
crystal.
Knowing I wasn't going to drink it just for you to have another glass to drink.
What?
Walker, are you still drunk? This is the question I have. This is notice this
when
is
I
like
woke up this morning, I was.
this is like the first time on this episode that Walker has actually spoken other than 2 to 3 words, and they came out as if he was trying to speak gibberish. I mean, he was speaking drunkenese for 30 seconds. Caleb, you make this. You drink yourself.
Take a sip. Take a sip. You'll be okay.
I'm all right.
I bet he said this morning, I'm never doing that again.
I'm sure
Which
he
is
did.
No,
That's
no, I didn't.
sure as
I'm gonna do it
blank.
tomorrow.
That's the way.
Do it again tomorrow.
We've all said that.
Oh, have we all said that?
Lessons learned.
And some of us, hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge at the bar, said it after doing the show.
Not to name names.
Oh, Walker, we were just having fun. Notice Walker has learned how to count as he's sobered up. We'll come back. More hour 2 of Implicit Bias right after this.